Hey everybody, welcome back to Quali-Tea time. A little bit late today, but I had a rough morning, by which I meant I got up incredibly early because I couldn't sleep, and then I couldn't do anything but, so, a little bit late, so sorry about that. Anyways, in with the news, I teased a little bit on stream last night that I gotten some good news yesterday, and that good news is the tax credits has finally gone through. Bear in mind, I've been fighting to get that done since November of last year. And no, they haven't backdated it, so I don't suddenly have a few £1,000 on me. But that finally tops me up, so yay. Hurrah. I am no longer living donation to donation. Hurrah. Which means there's a bunch of stuff that I can finally put back in motion. So the first thing of that is convention plans. I am now actually able to afford conventions. So the first one on my list is MCM October. I don't have definitives on that just yet, but it's the first one I'm aiming at. I don't know if Fuzz will be along with me, but obviously that's the ideal. And I still need to find... still need to figure out somewhere I would stay, but hopefully you'll be able to find me at MCM October wandering around. So hey, here's for that. Other piece of news is, of course, that now that I can afford to pay the artists for their work, we can get back on Forbidden Lyings. I do want to do a little bit of tech cleanup just before I do that, so for example, finally get some lighting to make the green screen pop a bit better, but Forbidden Lyings, definitely back on the roll. Other than that, let's pop into the schedule, shall we? On Thursday at 11 PM BST over at twitch.tv/lyinginbedmon, we have another installment of Midnight Souls. On Friday, we have an episode of Edgington. On Saturday, we have an instance of Dungeon Maker where we consider what the boss system will look like for the dungeon. And of course, always over at twitch.tv/dragonhat from 9 PM BST, we have an instance of Path of Steel. Here's hoping all things go to plan. On Sunday, we have an episode of XCOM 2 where we're recovering from the slaughter of the previous mission. On Tuesday, we have Mating 2, where we're getting back in the kitchen, and we also have another stream of Spring Realm Development at 9 PM BST at twitch.tv/lyinginbedmon. Lastly, on Wednesday, we have an instance of Edgington, where we're going to be finally getting rid of the spiders that are roaming the continent. That then, of course, brings us to the question and answer segment of Lying Answers. So, of course, if you have any questions that you'd like to see me answer, put them down in the comments, and I'll see what I can do next video. Our first question of the day comes from AI13. Are there any lyings that would ally with the witch? My gut reaction is to say no, especially since anyone that would consider the witch an ally has also been tormented by the witch. But the infinite nature of the multiverse means there's probably one or two. And we've already seen that there are some sort of witches in potentiate that might theoretically align with the witch at some stage in their development. But as writ, I don't know of anyone that would do it right now. Draco's Cave asks, who would win in a fight between Saitama, the protagonist of One Punch Man, and the witch? It's kind of a draw, honestly. There is, for example, canon immortals inside of One Punch Man, because there is Zombie Man, who can't, as writ, be killed. So in theory, One Punch Man could punch Zombie Man and presumably atomize him, but if that breaks the limits of his immortality, we don't know. The presumption is that he'd survive in some fashion. When Saitama punches someone with sufficient force, they tend to just create big holes. With the witch, though, even atomizing wouldn't kill them, because they would respawn later on just near the well. Saitama could very easily level the well, as I imagine so could Genos, but if he was just, like, fighting the witch, like, in a field somewhere, then he'd be able to down the witch, but it wouldn't kill the witch. I don't think the witch could really do much of anything to Saitama either, so I guess it's really a draw overall. Abby Snail 10 asks, any tips on staying entertained with little or no internet? This would be presumably relating to the about 4 months I spent offline during the sitch. So, how did I stay entertained? The biggest, component in my staying entertained was I have about 300-400 DVDs, so I watched the very vast bulk of that, and then some of them twice. or 3 times. I think I marathoned Elementaries, like, seasons 1 through 3, like, 4 times in the course of that. Beyond that, I also took up a project, so I had a hobby. I was coding at the time, and I found a relatively large game that could be played offline that had a list of achievements that I could try and 100%, so that was Terraria. Basically, I guess if you don't have internet, just find long-lasting things that don't require internet, for the most part. When I did have access to the internet during the Siege, I tried to download YouTube videos, just so I could watch them offline and on loop, so it wouldn't cost me more data, because we had a limit of about 24 gig per month, and by God, that was not good. Oh boy. But yeah, just go back to basics, I guess. There are some things that have developed, like, in the wake of the internet rise that you can do that don't require an internet connection, but are on modern computers, like, I played Terraria, I coded, that kind of thing. But for the most part, everything that we did before then still exists, so you can watch TV, you can watch videos, you can watch that kind of thing. Find a few board games even, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, that is it for this instance of Quali-Tea time. I hope you've all enjoyed. I will, of course, catch you next Wednesday, once again, hopefully in a more appropriate hour. See you then.